Life is not only about the goals we reach or the things we achieve. It is also about the person we become while walking through that journey. Every woman has within her the ability to reshape her own life, to uplift her family, and even to influence the world when she chooses to live with faith, strength, and steady discipline. Yet, many times we forget that true beauty is not found in appearances alone. It is found in character, in daily habits, and in the way we carry ourselves even when nobody is watching. Think about this. Our world often teaches women to look beautiful, but God calls us to become beautiful from within. Today, I want to speak about certain habits that every woman can embrace. Not to meet society's expectations, not to prove anything to anyone, but to honor the divine spirit God has placed within her. These habits are not strict rules. They are doors that lead to peace, dignity, strength, and fulfillment. Discipline is the invisible force that lifts a life from ordinary to extraordinary. It is discipline that takes raw potential and turns it into lasting power. Many people drift through life, ruled by their feelings, their desires, and their impulses. But when a woman learns to train her mind, to guide her choices, and to steady her emotions, she becomes unstoppable. She is no longer like water scattered on the ground that disappears quickly. Instead, she becomes like a mighty river flowing with direction, power, and purpose. How many times in our ordinary days do we feel the temptation to give in to comfort? Maybe we choose to sleep longer instead of waking early to greet the morning with purpose. Maybe when someone provokes us, our first impulse is to lash out in anger instead of standing tall with dignity. Maybe we keep scrolling endlessly on social media, comparing ourselves, looking for approval and wasting away precious hours. Desires never end. They rise like endless waves. But discipline teaches us which waves to rise with and which waves to simply let pass by. A disciplined woman is not one who has no joy. In truth, her joy is deeper, purer, and more lasting because it does not depend on temporary feelings. Imagine a woman who eats anything and everything she craves without self-control. Soon her health begins to suffer. But another woman eats with balance, mindful of her body, and she enjoys health, energy, and beauty for years to come. The first may feel a moment of pleasure. The second gains a lifetime of strength. That is the freedom discipline brings. It is not a cage. It is a crown. Discipline is also seen in the words we speak. Sometimes the urge to respond, to argue, to prove ourselves feels powerful. But a woman with discipline understands that silence often guards her peace better than 10,000 words. She does not pour her energy into every argument because she knows not every argument is worthy of her attention. She speaks carefully, choosing her words as a jeweler selects diamonds, rarely with thought and always with value. In relationships too, discipline has its place. Many women crave constant attention, endless validation, and reassurance from others. And when it doesn't come, they feel hurt, empty, or angry. But discipline teaches a higher truth. That your worth is not measured by who notices you, but by how close you stay to God and how faithful you remain to your own values. A disciplined woman does not chase love. She attracts it by the way she walks, the way she carries herself, the way she shines with dignity. Her presence becomes like a garden, peaceful, refreshing, and full of life. People want to be near her, not because she begs for their company, but because her spirit radiates strength. Discipline also shows itself in the way we value time. Time is the essence of life. Every moment wasted in meaningless distractions is a moment stolen from our destiny. Desires whisper, watch one more episode, scroll one more page, talk one more hour of gossip. But discipline quietly says, use this time to grow, to learn, to build. A woman who respects her time takes charge of her life. She understands that when we waste time on empty pleasures, we lose the chance to invest in our future. Discipline does not mean denying your emotions. It means guiding them. Fire can burn down a house, But the same fire can also cook food and give warmth. The difference is in control. In the same way, our desires can destroy our peace or fuel our purpose. A woman who trains her heart to guide her emotions wisely turns that fire into energy for growth. Take waking up early as an example. The desire says, stay in bed, keep resting. But discipline says, rise and honor the day. Those quiet morning hours become filled with clarity, peace, and strength that carry her through the rest of the day. Or when someone disrespects her, the natural desire may be to shout back. But discipline teaches her to stay calm, or even to stay silent, preserving her dignity. That calmness often shocks others more than an angry response ever could. Discipline is also deeply spiritual. To sit quietly in prayer, to meditate, to remember God, this requires discipline. The world is noisy, distractions are everywhere, the phone rings, the mind wanders. Yet a disciplined woman keeps returning to her stillness. In that place, she becomes unshakable. Her inner world grows stronger than the outer noise, and from that strength, she lives in balance, no matter what storms come her way. The truth is that discipline is another name for love. Love for the woman you are becoming. Love for your future. Love for the peace within you. Desires enslave us. Discipline sets us free. Desires fade, but discipline builds character. And character is what makes a woman truly beautiful. My friends, never forget this. A disciplined woman is not one who denies herself happiness. She is the one who chooses joy that lasts over comfort that fades. She is not one who walks in chains, but one who walks free, free from regret, free from weakness, free from the endless pull of shallow desires. She stands tall, glowing with peace and power, because she knows her discipline is her crown. And with that crown, she leads her life with grace. Compassion, too, is often misunderstood. Many mistake compassion for weakness. They think it means being soft, fragile, or letting people walk all over you. But compassion is not weakness. It is one of the greatest forms of strength a woman can carry. Compassion is what makes her presence healing, her words soothing, and her actions unforgettable. Compassion is like a lamp in the dark. A lamp does not argue with the shadows. It simply shines and removes the darkness. In the same way, when people bring hate, negativity, or harshness, a compassionate woman does not fight back with more darkness. She responds with patience, with kindness, with calm understanding. But compassion does not mean being broken or used. A compassionate woman knows her limits. She knows how to love deeply without losing herself. She forgives, but does not allow repeated harm. She cares, but she is not controlled. This balance is what makes compassion powerful. Imagine someone in your life who always speaks with anger, always wants to prove you wrong. The easy desire is to argue, to raise your voice. But compassion looks deeper. It asks, what pain is this person hiding? What wound makes them act this way? So instead of fighting back, the compassionate woman may remain calm, answer gently, or simply walk away without bitterness. Her peace is not poisoned by another's behavior. That is compassion guided by wisdom. Compassion shows up in small, quiet moments too. A co-worker struggling silently. Compassion encourages you to offer help instead of judgment. A child who makes mistakes. Compassion teaches correction through love instead of fear. A stranger rude in traffic. Compassion whispers. Maybe they are rushing to a hospital. Maybe they are burdened with something unseen. Compassion does not excuse bad behavior, but it prevents us from carrying bitterness in our own hearts. There are two women. One responds to every insult with insult, every harsh word with more harshness. Her life is filled with stress and unrest. The other woman chooses compassion. When others hurt her, she chooses patience. When life tests her, she chooses calm. Her heart stays light. The difference between the two is compassion. Compassion also strengthens relationships. It helps you forgive. It helps you listen. It helps you care. But real compassion also knows when to step back. Imagine pouring water into a pot full of cracks. No matter how much you pour, it leaks away. Compassion reminds us not to waste our love in places where there is no respect. It saves our energy for people and places that truly matter. Compassion makes you trustworthy. People feel safe with a compassionate woman because they know she will not judge them harshly. She will see their flaws but still honor their dignity. This is why compassion naturally attracts respect and loyalty. But compassion does not mean being nice all the time. It means being real, gentle, and firm together. Spiritually, compassion reflects God's heart. Just as the sun shines on all people, whether they deserve it or not, a compassionate woman shares warmth with all. But just as the sun sets to rest, she too knows when to step away. Think of a small example. You are at the market. A seller speaks rudely to you. You can react in anger, or you can choose compassion. Maybe she has stood all day in the heat. Maybe she has troubles at home. When you respond with kindness, you protect your peace and maybe even change her day. Sometimes one compassionate act plants a seed that grows far beyond what you will ever see. Compassion also heals your own heart. Holding anger is like holding fire in your hand. It burns you before it burns others. But compassion is like cool water. It soothes, it refreshes, it keeps your spirit light. A compassionate woman shines with a beauty no makeup can create. It is the beauty of her spirit. So remember this, my dear friends. Compassion is not weakness. It is easy to be angry, easy to fight, easy to carry grudges. Anyone can do that. But it takes true courage to forgive, wisdom to understand, and strength to stay kind in a world that often forgets kindness. A compassionate woman is not powerful because she is louder, but because she is calmer. She does not let negativity shake her because she carries light inside. Compassion is not allowing others to hurt you again and again. It is about freeing yourself from hate while also protecting yourself, respect. That balance, gentleness in heart and firmness in spirit, is what makes compassion royal. And when you live with compassion, you inspire everyone around you. Your children learn it from you. Your friends feel it in your presence. Even strangers remember your kindness. Compassion creates ripples that touch hearts, heal wounds, and leave a legacy that lasts. Patience, too, is not something small or passive. Many think patience belongs only to those too weak to act. But in truth, patience is one of the greatest hidden strengths a woman can hold. It is never delay, it is preparation. Patience is that unseen thread that quietly holds together our dreams, our relationships, and even our inner peace. Look around and you will see a world that is always rushing. People want success overnight. They want love instantly. They want results without working for them. And they want answers without waiting. But the truth is this: nothing of real value in life comes in a single day. A seed cannot become a tree overnight. A relationship cannot build trust in a moment. A skill cannot be mastered in one try. And a life cannot be shaped in a hurry. Patience is the bridge that connects the seed to the fruit, the effort to the reward, the prayer to the answer. Think for a moment about something as ordinary as cooking. If you remove rice from the stove too early, it remains hard and unfinished. If you pull bread out of the oven before its time, it stays flat and heavy. But when you wait, when you give it the time it needs, it becomes nourishing, full, and complete. Life is no different. When we rush, we damage. When we wait, we receive. Every day, patience is tested in little and big ways. When you are stuck in traffic, you're tested. When your child does not listen, you are tested. When your career moves slower than your dreams, you are tested. In those very moments, the temptation to complain, to lose your temper, to give up feels strong. But patience whispers softly, hold on, breathe, trust the process. This moment will pass. A woman who chooses patience walks with peace in her eyes, while others drown in frustration. There is a story of the bamboo tree. For several years after planting, nothing appears above the soil. People laugh. People doubt. Many give up watering it. But the few who keep caring for it, who keep trusting, who keep watering, suddenly one day see the bamboo shoot up, rising higher in weeks than many trees grow in years. What was happening in those quiet years? The roots were deepening. The strength was building beneath the surface. That is how patience works in us too. When nothing seems to change, something hidden within us is growing strong. Patience is what allows it to bloom in time. In relationships, patience is the medicine that keeps love alive. People will make mistakes. They will disappoint us. They will not always meet our expectations. But patience teaches us that people are still learning and growing just as we are. A patient woman knows when to give space, when to allow time, when to wait for understanding. Without patience, relationships fall apart quickly. With patience, they grow into something lasting and beautiful. Imagine two women. One reacts instantly when her partner forgets something important. She shouts, she blames, she stirs up storms. The other takes a deep breath, reminds herself of his good qualities, and later, with calmness, she talks about it. Which of these relationships do you think will last longer? Patience does not mean ignoring wrongs. It means choosing the right moment, the right way, and the right tone. That is true wisdom. And that wisdom is born from patience. Even in personal growth, patience is the foundation. Many women start new journeys, a workout, a course, a new habit. But when results do not appear quickly, they quit. Yet real change takes time. Patience whispers, keep going. The results will come. Just like drops of water shape even the hardest stone, small steady efforts guided by patience eventually create miracles. Patience also gives you emotional power. Imagine someone insulting you in front of others. The impatient reaction is to lash back instantly, to argue, to drop to their level. But patience teaches you to pause, to let the anger cool, and to respond later with dignity. In that moment, you rise higher. They shrink smaller while you remain tall. This is the hidden strength of patience. It allows you to win battles without ever having to fight them. On a deeper spiritual level, patience is an expression of trust. When you pray, when you dream, when you put in the effort, the results do not appear instantly. Impatience gives birth to doubt. Why is nothing happening? Why is life unfair? But patience builds faith. I am doing my part. God is doing his part. The right time will come. That way of thinking brings peace, and peace itself is already a victory. In daily routines, patience lightens the load of life. Standing in long lines, waiting during delays, facing disappointments, patience saves your energy. Instead of boiling in frustration, you smile and say, this too is part of life. Those who carry patience look younger, healthier, and happier because they do not waste energy on irritation. So, my dear friends, never think of patience as weakness. Patience is not sitting back and doing nothing. It is trusting, working, and waiting with strength. It is choosing not to give up, not to complain, not to collapse, but to keep standing with faith. The impatient may look like they are moving fast, but they stumble. The patient may seem slower, but they endure and they win. A patient woman is like a mountain, calm, steady, unmoved by storms. People may not always understand her calm spirit, but in the end, she is the one who still stands tall. And when her time finally comes, her growth shocks everyone who once doubted her. Patience is the unseen power that turns struggles into strength, delays into lessons, and waiting into wisdom. If you master patience, you master peace. And if you master peace, you master life. And then there is gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful habits a woman can learn. It is not just saying thank you when something good happens. It is a way of seeing, a way of breathing, a way of living. Gratitude is shifting your eyes away from what is missing and choosing to see what is already here. It is moving from complaint to contentment, from emptiness to fullness, from restlessness to peace. The world around us constantly screams, You need more money, more recognition, more beauty, more comfort. And because of this noise, many people live chasing what they do not have, blind to the blessings already surrounding them. Gratitude flips that thinking. It reminds you to pause and realize, I may not have everything I want, but I already have so much to be thankful for. That simple shift creates joy that wealth, fame, or praise can never bring. Think about waking up in the morning. So many people open their eyes and instantly complain about the weather, about work, about responsibility. But gratitude says, thank you, God, for another day. Thank you for the breath in my lungs, for the roof over my head, for the food that awaits me, for the people who care about me. That one habit changes the energy of the whole day. A woman who begins her morning with gratitude shines with calmness, while the one who begins with complaints carries heaviness the whole day long. Gratitude does not need big blessings to exist. In fact, it shines brightest in small, everyday moments. The smile of a child, the scent of flowers, the warmth of a meal, the laughter with a friend. These are treasures many ignore. Gratitude is simply slowing down enough to notice them, to cherish them, to keep them close to the heart. But gratitude is not only for good days. It is tested in difficult seasons too. When life is smooth, it is easy to be grateful. When you are healthy, loved, and successful, gratitude flows easily. But true gratitude reveals its power when things fall apart. When health fails, when relationships hurt, when finances grow tight, gratitude still whispers, even here something good can be found. Maybe the pain is teaching strength. Maybe the delay is protecting you. Maybe the loss is guiding you toward new beginnings. Gratitude does not deny pain. It gives meaning to it. There was once a woman who lost her job. She could have filled her days with bitterness, but she chose gratitude. For the time she suddenly had, for the support of her family, for the skills she still carried. That gratitude gave her courage, and soon she found a better path. Gratitude did not erase her struggle, but it gave her the strength to walk through it. In relationships, gratitude is like glue. It keeps hearts close. Too often, people only notice what their loved ones are not doing instead of appreciating what they are doing. A grateful woman does not keep saying, "You don't do enough." Instead, she says, "I see your effort. I appreciate you." That one shift creates love, respect, and harmony. Gratitude and love is like water to a plant. It keeps it alive, fresh, and growing. Even in self-growth, gratitude is powerful. Instead of criticizing yourself for not being perfect yet, gratitude teaches you to honor how far you've come. Maybe you have not reached the final goal, but you are no longer where you used to be. Gratitude for small progress gives strength for bigger victories. Without gratitude, life feels like an endless chase. With gratitude, every step feels like a gift. Spiritually, gratitude ties you to God. When you say thank you, not just to people but to Him, you are admitting that life is a gift, not a burden. Every breath becomes holy. Every moment becomes meaningful. Gratitude opens the heart and lets peace flow in. It is said the more grateful you are, the more reasons life gives you to be grateful. Blessings multiply when you notice them. Picture two women. One complains her house is too small. Her family doesn't understand her. Her job is exhausting. The other looks at the same life and says, "I have a home. I have family. I have work that provides." Life is not perfect, but it is enough. One lives in misery, the other in peace. Not because their lives were different, but because their focus was. Gratitude shaped their worlds. Even in failure, gratitude carries strength. When something does not work out, a grateful woman says, "This is not the end, it is a lesson." She thanks the experience for teaching her, and then she moves forward stronger and wiser. Complaints weigh us down, but gratitude lifts us up. So my friends, carry gratitude in every season. Whether it is the summer of success or the winter of struggle, gratitude is the key to joy. It does not mean ignoring problems. It means refusing to let problems blind you from blessings. Gratitude turns an ordinary life into an extraordinary one, not by changing circumstances, but by changing vision. A thankful woman carries a kind of light that cannot be hidden. People are drawn to her because she shines with positivity. She doesn't exhaust others with endless complaints. Instead, she brings energy by noticing and appreciating what is good. She teaches without giving lectures, simply through the way she chooses to live. Her presence has a way of reminding others of their own blessings. Gratitude isn't something you show only when life feels easy. It's a decision you make even when times are hard. That decision makes you strong, calm, and purposeful. Gratitude is not just decoration. It is protection. It shields your heart from bitterness, from jealousy, and from hopelessness. It transforms even the toughest journeys into meaningful paths. And when you live in gratitude, life itself becomes a prayer. Every breath becomes thank you. Every step becomes thank you. And every moment turns sacred. Gratitude is the quiet secret that changes not only your days, but your destiny. The courage to walk alone is one of the clearest signs of a strong woman. Many people cling to the comfort of crowds, the company of friends, and the approval of others. They run from loneliness because they think being alone means being unwanted or weak. But the truth is, walking alone is not weakness. It is power. It proves that you know your own value, that you trust the path you've been given, and that you are led by something greater than the voices of people. Life will often put you at crossroads where everyone else chooses one way, but your heart whispers to go another. It takes courage to follow that whisper. It takes courage to say, even if no one walks with me, I will stand with my principles, with my dignity, with my God. A woman who carries this courage cannot be stopped because she doesn't need outside approval to move forward. She doesn't beg for company. She doesn't fear quiet moments. And she never sells her values just to belong. Think about how often people stay stuck in harmful friendships, toxic relationships, or draining environments because they fear being alone. They accept disrespect. They silence who they truly are. They sacrifice their peace, all because of loneliness. But a woman who dares to walk alone understands this truth. It is far better to be alone in honesty than to be surrounded by lies. It is better to walk alone in peace than to walk with many in chaos. Walking alone is not about rejecting people. It is about refusing to lose yourself in order to keep others. When you learn to enjoy your own company and stand tall in your own space, you send a powerful message to the world, I am enough. That kind of self-respect attracts people of worth, people who honor you, people who match your energy. The courage to walk alone often guides you to the right people because you stop holding on to the wrong ones. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a young woman who chooses to focus on her studies or her career while her friends spend every night at parties. They laugh at her, they tease her, they call her boring. She feels left out. But if she has the courage to walk alone, she stays steady. Years later, the same people who mocked her will admire what she built. This is what courage does. It gives you the strength to trade temporary comfort for lasting growth. Even within families or communities, sometimes you must stand apart. When you choose a different path, whether in your career, your lifestyle, or your choices, people might not understand. They may criticize, they may pressure you to fit back into their mold. But courage says, I respect you, but I must follow the truth written for me. That is not rebellion. That is responsibility to your soul. Courage to walk alone also means letting go of what no longer serves you. It may be a relationship that drains you, a habit that harms you, or a place that holds you back. Many remain trapped because they fear the emptiness that follows letting go. But they don't see that emptiness as simply space where new blessings can enter. A woman who walks alone makes room for growth, for healing, and for God's direction. And never forget, the greatest clarity often comes in solitude. Surrounded by noise, you hear the voices of others. Alone in silence, you finally hear your own voice. And even more important, you hear the voice of God. Solitude is not a punishment. It is a gift, a chance to reflect, to realign, and to strengthen your spirit. Look at nature. A lion doesn't move in herds like sheep. It carries itself with dignity, sometimes walking alone, but always walking with confidence. That's why it's called king. Likewise, a woman with the courage to walk alone isn't arrogant. She is assured. She doesn't chase approval. She carries her own authority. Of course, walking alone is not always smooth. There will be moments of doubt, of loneliness, of questioning yourself. But those moments are what shape you. Diamonds form under pressure. Character is built in solitude. Every step you take alone strengthens your backbone, sharpens your vision, and deepens your faith. In everyday life, courage to walk alone might look as simple as saying no when everyone else says yes. It might be refusing gossip when others indulge in it. It might be choosing simplicity when others run after showing off. It might be holding on to your integrity at work, even if it costs you in the short term. These small acts build a deep foundation of self-respect. Spiritually, courage to walk alone means realizing you are never truly alone. Even if people leave, even if friends forget, even if society misunderstands, you are still accompanied. God walks with you always. That faith gives a woman unshakable strength. She does not fear the empty seat beside her because she knows the greatest presence sits with her. So hear me clearly. Walking alone does not mean you are lonely. It means you are strong enough to choose your own way, even when others reject it, even when it is misunderstood. The world may not cheer for you in the beginning, but in time it will respect you. Because courage is rare, and those who carry it shine brighter than the rest. Courage to walk alone transforms you. It builds independence. It plants confidence. It prepares you for leadership. And most importantly, it teaches you that your worth is not built on the opinions of others. It rises from the strength of your own soul. So do not fear solitude. If you must walk alone, walk with dignity, with faith, and with courage. For in those moments, you are never truly alone. You are walking with God, with purpose, and with the power leading you to the destiny written for you alone. And now, let us talk about humility. Humility is one of the most misunderstood strengths. Many think that being humble means lowering yourself, hiding your talents, or being timid. But true humility is none of these. Real humility is power under control. It is carrying your victories with grace, your gifts with gentleness, and your success with simplicity. It is the crown of wisdom that makes a woman not only admired, but deeply respected. Why do people value a tree that bends lower when it is heavy with fruit? Because its bowing is not weakness, it is fullness. The more fruit it carries, the lower it bends. A woman filled with wisdom, success, and strength, yet who stays approachable, kind, and grounded is like that tree. She doesn't need to declare her greatness. Her actions reveal it. In daily life, the contrast is clear. Picture two women. One constantly speaks of what she has achieved, always reminding others of her talent, her possessions, her status. The other accomplishes just as much, maybe more, but she speaks softly, treats everyone with respect, and lets her work do the talking. Which woman do you think others prefer to stay near? The humble one. Because humility warms people while arrogance pushes them away. Humility shows in how we treat people. It's easy to respect those above us. But humility is proven when we treat with kindness those who cannot give us anything in return. A humble woman greets the janitor with the same respect as the CEO. She treasures the effort of a child as much as the knowledge of a scholar. She knows dignity is measured not by status, but by humanity. Think of a flower. It doesn't announce its fragrance, yet people are drawn to it. Humility is like that fragrance. You don't need to declare it. Others will feel it in your presence. Some may wonder, if I'm humbled, won't people take advantage of me? The answer is no, because true humility is balanced with self-respect. Humility doesn't mean letting others walk over you. It means you don't walk over them. A humble woman can still say no with dignity. She can stand firm in her values and remain gentle. That balance makes humility powerful in every relationship. Humility can heal. Many arguments don't come from big issues, but from pride, the refusal to admit mistakes. A humble woman, even when she is right, knows how to soften her words, how to listen first, how to choose peace over pride. This doesn't mean she hides the truth. It means she speaks it without arrogance. Such humility builds trust, harmony, and love that lasts. Even in success, humility keeps you steady. History is full of people who rose high and fell hard because of pride, and also full of those who rose high, stayed grounded, and became timeless. Success without humility is like a balloon overfilled with air. It will burst. Success with humility is like a kite held by a string. It flies high but stays safe. Picture a woman who becomes very skilled in her work. Everyone praises her. She has two choices. She can let the praise puff up her ego, or she can receive it with thankfulness, honoring those who supported her and giving credit to God for His blessings. The second choice keeps her steady. That is humility, the wisdom to remember that though you may be talented, you are not the source of all. Spiritually, humility connects you to God. When you are humble, you realize that no matter how much you achieve, you are still a small part of a vast universe, guided by a higher hand. This doesn't make you feel less. It makes you feel secure. Because you know you are not carrying the world alone. You are supported by the Almighty. Humility makes you a lifelong learner. The arrogant say, I know it all. The humble say, there is more to learn. And because of this, the humble grow while the arrogant stay stuck. A humble woman listens, learns from everyone, whether a child, a stranger, or her own mistakes. That openness is the root of wisdom. Think of a cup. If it's already full of pride, nothing new can be poured in. But if it's open and humble, it can receive fresh water, new wisdom, and more blessings. Even in how we carry ourselves, humility shows. Some people walk into a room demanding attention. Others enter quietly, and yet everyone feels their presence. That is humility. It doesn't shout, it shines. People are drawn to the humble because around them, they feel safe, valued, and respected. So remember this. Humility is not about being less. It is about being more without showing off. It is knowing your worth without using it to put others down. It is carrying your victories with grace, your wisdom with kindness, and your success with simplicity. A humble woman is like a queen whose crown is not made of jewels, but of wisdom, compassion, and grace. People admire her not because she stands above them, but because she walks beside them. And that is what makes her unforgettable. Humility is a crown that never fades. Pride may rise fast, but it falls fast too. Humility may seem quiet, but it lasts forever. If you want to be truly great, wear humility as your crown, and let your actions speak louder than your words.